I meant do not share your camera. Okay, guys, the last lesson we had discussed the ancient Silk Road together, and we had already said that the caravel will start from China to the other destination, Italy, and they have to stop by every checkpoint here simply for supplies, and they have to pay a certain amount of money to the transpassing country. So the result, finally, the result was the price of the goods were expensive once they reached Italy. And another result out of this Silk Road that Italy was controlling all the Silk Roads. So Italy was one of the richest and the most powerful nation in Europe at that time. Okay? طيب. So the other European nations, يا أولاد, simply want a piece of this lucrative trade. They want a piece of the cake. They want to be rich like Italy. So they will simply try to look for alternatives for getting luxury and some expensive goods from China and introduce them to the European market. And they will try to think out of the box a little bit because simply they have looked into the Silk Road. When they evaluated, they had noticed a lot of negative points. For example, they had to pay some money at these checkpoints. So they want to get rid of this payments. So they started to think, what about using the sea? We can simply go the other way. يعني مثلا, if we have a look here, instead of taking this road, they thought that why not trying to use the sea? So we can simply go faster and the ships can carry more cargo than on camels, and there is no need to pay any extra money. So we will use simply the international water, like the term we are using nowadays. Okay, طيب. But first, before telling you the real story, what happened? Why do you think the other European nations were eager to discover new water routes to reach China? Of course, I have told you so a couple of minutes ago.
Mister,
Yes?
it's because they didn't want to pay the taxes.
Of course, they do not want to pay the money. Speak up, please. Can you hear
Okay.
me clear now? Of course, they want a piece of the cake. They want to be rich like Italy. So the first reason is obviously simply they want to be rich. So the first reason will be wealth. Okay? طيب. What about the second one? By the way, we have four reasons. Try to use your mind a little bit. The first one, wealth. They want to be a rich nation like Italy. طيب. Try to think about another reason. Let me give you a hint here.
Mister,
After, yes?
maybe because they doesn't have a map, so they doesn't know the exact route of the Silk Road.
So we can say out of your words, curiosity. Maybe I will get the honor to discover the world and draw
Yes.
the map. يعني مثلا,
Yes.
let me tell you something. After how many centuries nowadays, we are still talking about the great explorer, the great discoverer, Christopher Columbus. Why do you think, after how many centuries, we are still talking about this guy? Why do you think? This is honor. After making a great discovery, simply you have entered history and your name is still mentioned in history for a long time ago, and we are still gonna talk about him furthermore in the future, inshallah, because simply the humankind is gratitude to this guy for his great discovery. One of them, by the way, we have a lot of exceptors we're going to talk about. يبقى we can say, يا أولاد, that the first reason, simply wealth. The second, fame and glory, to honor your name. طيب. And curiosity. What's over there? Let me show you here. So, obviously, Olet, the first reason why the European nations started to make the voyages of discovery simply because of wealth. They want to be rich nations like Italy, fame and glory, to get some honor to your name after making some great discoveries. Curiosity. We want to draw a new map. We want to discover new sea routes. And also, there is something happened in the church in Europe during the Renaissance era, Aulad. We can say, and it's not our issue here, we're going to discuss it later on, but they make some church reformation acts. Like simply they introduced a new branch of Christianity. They call it Protestant. And of course, after making this Reformation acts to the church, they feel sorry for themselves. So as a way of saying sorry to the church, they want to introduce some new population to the church as a way of saying sorry. So they want to introduce more people to be converted to Christianity. يبقى يا أولاد to answer and this is the first important point in our lesson يا أولاد. In order to answer this question, why the European nations started to make the voyages of discovery because of the four main reasons: wealth, fame and glory, Christianity, and simply curiosity. What's over there? They used to have in their myth that freaky sea monsters used to live over there. I think someone is waiting. Yes. So, yeah, lad, as you know, because I'm sharing my screen, I can't see who's waiting in the lobby. So please, if you notice one, let me know. Okay. يبقى four main reasons. This is the answer of why. طب how do you think? How do you think they will start their voyages of discovery? Use your mind a little bit. Can you give me a hint here? How? Of course. يعني يا أولاد, they will travel by the sea. So obviously they will need, what do you think? They will need camels?
New boats.
Ships, of course. They need a specific kind of ships, larger ships. ماشي؟ طيب. Plus, now I have the ship. How I'm gonna navigate? They will use their GPS
No, by stars and the wind, direction of the wind.
by stars and using the wind power. طيب.
Also
So we
compass.
have compasses at
Compass, exactly. طيب. The compass was an invention. Who invented it? Do you have any idea?
الاسترلاب يعني ما اعتقد.
Lab?
The Chinese did.
The Chinese. In fact, يا أولاد, in fact, the Chinese simply invented the compass and the Europeans borrowed it from them and they learned how to use. Of course, the benefit, يا أولاد, of the compass simply at any certain point in the globe, they can know where is north. ماشي؟ طيب. طب after getting this fact, here is the north. طيب. What's the benefit? I wanna go to the north side. What I'm gonna find? Where is my exact location? I have no idea, by the way. So they borrowed from the Muslims, they borrowed the astrolabe. The astrolabe is simply a tool. يعني we will not say it's a sophisticated tool, but simply it's a tool that will simply guide them by using two anchor points, by using the horizon line and the stars over there in the sky. By the way, until now, يا ولاد, of course, the location and the position of the stars over there in the sky will not be the same. They gonna change, right? يعني مثلا here in Saudi Arabia, if I have the ability to see a certain star, my friend living over there in the States will not see the same star I'm seeing right now. It's a fact, right? Or what do you think?
Yes, mister, that's
Yes,
correct.
it's a fact. But only one single star over there in the sky will be in the exact location.
The North Star.
Exactly. So by using some way, and this is without using this tool, there's they used to call it uh, اللهم صل على النبي. They used to call, yes, it will show them where is the north. And next to the star, you're gonna see a group of 3 stars in a straight line. So this way, you will know this is the north. Maybe in clear sky, أولاد, you will have the chance to see this, and it's always bright, more brighter than the other normal stars. طيب. Maybe one of you will tell me, Mister, when if I have the chance to look through my window, I cannot see any stars because simply of the city lights. The city lights will simply affect uh, the location and the easiness of seeing these stars. يعني مثلا, let me give you an example here. Before, in case to determine the beginning of Ramadan, of course, يعني you can simply go to the top of your building by using some kind of a telescope. You can figure out if the new moon is born or not yet. But they will go to the desert to check it out because simply the city lights يا أولاد will affect this operation. طيب. يبقى they borrowed this tool from the Muslims, and the Muslims taught them how to use it. This is called the astrolabe, by using a straight line here to a specific star, and the other line will be to the horizon. So they can calculate their exact location. ماشي؟ طيب. يبقى by using precise navigation tools like the compass and the astrolabe. And by the way, يا أولاد, nowadays, maybe you saw it in movies. If the GPS failed in any ship, they will simply go back to this tool to calculate their location manually. But of course, they added some enhancement to it. They were not using the same old astrolabe. They made some enhancement to it, and they call it Saxton. And they are still using it until now. ماشي? And the Europeans started to build larger ships. They call it caravel. ماشي? From the word that the group of camels or the group of traders, when they used to use the Silk Road, the caravel, so they name it, يا أولاد, they name it caravel. So the definition of the caravel will be simply a light, fast sailing ship. Okay? يبقى how they started their voyages of discovery by building larger ships, the caravel, a light, fast sailing ship, and by importing precise means of navigation, like the compass from China and the astrolabe from the Muslims. Is it clear until now? Why
Yes.
and how? Why? For 4 main reasons: wealth, fame and glory, Christianity, and curiosity. How? By building larger ships, precise means of navigation, compass, and the astrolabe. Okay, let's go on. Who took the lead, Yoled? Here, I'm talking about the European nations. Okay, who took the lead to
Britain.
start the voyages of discovery?
Britain.
Europe, because they
Britain,
had the
Europe, yes, of course, ya أولاد. We are talking about European nations.
Spain.
Here is the map of Europe as we know it nowadays. Have a look at all of these countries. Choose one. Who
Spain.
do you think will start the voyages of discovery?
I would say Britain because it was the greatest country at this time.
Spain.
I guess.
Sorry, speak up.
I would say Britain because it was the greatest.
Britain?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, it's a
Spain.
point of view. Britain. ماشي. طيب, who else?
Spain.
Sweden?
Spain. Spain.
Spain. Spain, okay. يعني يا ولاد, logically talking, I think Italy will take the lead because, as I said, Italy was the richest and the most powerful nation of Europe at that time. يبقى your suggestions were simply United Kingdom or Britain and Spain, right?
That's
Any
true.
other options?
Yes. There's also France and
France.
Australia. لا أستراليا لا أستراليا
Australia. We are talking
لا لا
about Europe.
دي مش وقت أنا معلش عارف
I think Bulgaria, right? Of course
Bulgaria.
not. Of course not. طيب, let me tell you. ماشي? In fact, يا أولاد, in fact, Portugal took the lead. ماشي? Then the next European country after Portugal will be Spain. Then the other European nations will start their voyages of discovery. But what's important to me, the main point is Portugal started and took the lead to start the voyages of discovery. Yes.
Just for your info, can you just go back to the slide, the one
To the
before it?
map?
Yes, you know, between Spain and France, they have a really, really small country in the small circle.
This one?
Yes,
What's the name of this country?
I'm gonna get it for you, but I've heard this information before.
It's my
And
first
it's,
time to hear it.
yes,
This is, by the way, my favorite country, Switzerland.
Switzerland, yes, it's really
Wallahi,
nice.
Switzerland. Do you know that Switzerland does not have an army?
That's correct, because it's the most safe country.
It's not safe. Yani they signed the treaty with all of the nations signed the UN treaties or involved in the United Nations actions. They said that I will not be involved in any international action. يعني مثلا, for example, if Italy and Austria are fighting together, there is some kind of a war between them, Switzerland will simply say, it's not my business. I will not interfere with this misunderstanding. It's not my problem. For this reason, يا أولاد, the wealthy men all over the world, if they want to protect their fortune, they will simply go to put it over there in Switzerland. طيب. Let's go on. خلاص يا عبد الرحمن, you can simply leave this country. We can dig this piece of information later, or the next session you can tell me that. But
The name of it's Andorra.
Andorra?
Yes.
What's the capital of Andorra?
I truly don't know.
طيب خلاص, I will search this piece of
Andorra
information. Okay?
La Vella.
Okay. طب يا أولاد, so Portugal took the lead. And Portugal started the voyages of discovery. By the way, here is the location of Portugal, and here is Spain. So Portugal, يا أولاد, started their voyages of discovery, first of all, because of its location. And if we have a closer look here, of course, it's in front of the ocean. It's in front of the open water. So because of their location, they can easily start the voyages of discovery. Despite Italy, يعني مثلا Italy was rich. If Italy wanna explore the open water, for example, they have to go all the way through the Mediterranean and through the Strait of Gibraltar. Then they can simply go to the open water. But for Portugal, it's much easier for them. And also, one of the main causes why Portugal started the voyages of discovery, أولاد, because of the efforts of this guy, Henry the Navigator. They gave him the title, the Navigator. Of course, this is not his real name. His name was Prince Henry, and he was the son of the king at that time. Then after his dad passed away, he simply took over the country. Okay? But he by himself, يا أولاد, was not a navigator. يعني by himself, he was not a navigator. He didn't even ride in a single ship. But this was his passion. He had a great passion towards navigation. So simply, he used his mind. He established, so you can simply say, a school of navigation. In your book, it said that he established a court. But in order not to be misleaded, he established some kind of a school of navigation, and he invited every single human being in the world interested in this field. يعني مثلا people who are interested in the field of the navigation can be simply like astronomers, can be like navigators, sailors, map makers. He invited all of them to his school of navigation. And of course, his ultimate goal and his aim after establishing this school, يا أولاد, is simply, I do not know what's this problem with the mouse. مش عارف هو طيب ما علينا. His ultimate goal يا أولاد is simply to start the voyages of discovery and to discover a sea route to reach India. ماشي؟ يبقى what's important to me for Henry the Navigator? They gave him the title the Navigator, but he by himself was not a sailor, was not a navigator. Okay, but he was interested in this field and he established the first navigation school. And he invited all the people interested in this field.
And
Out
he
of this
hopes
school,
one day,
sorry,
and he hopes one day to find the sea route to India.
yes, this was his goal, his aim. For this reason, he established this school to discover a sea route to reach India, to reach China, sorry. Unfortunately, he died before fulfilling his dream. ماشي? But the school still exists. And out of this school, after his death, they started their voyages of discovery. And of course, يا أولاد, use your mind a little bit. After establishing the school, it took them more than 4 years to make a lot of studies in order to start their voyages of discovery. Out of this school, يا أولاد, out of the school of navigation, the first achievement was done by this guy. This guy, his name was Diaz. Diaz simply started and took the lead. He sailed, let's have a look here. He started his trip from Portugal. And of course, their aim after a lot of studies over there, they want to sail around Africa until they can reach China. Okay? طيب. يبقى he started his trip over there and he will simply sail around the western coast of Africa. طيب. Here he noticed something in this part, the western coast of Africa, that in front of Guinea, this is a windless part. Windless part means, of course, يعني they are using the wind power. Their aim or their goal was simply to set the wind behind the ship so the wind can simply push the ship a little bit further. So he noticed and he documented that here in this part there is no wind. ماشي? And he kept on moving. And of course, he will not simply use all the way. He used to have some kind of arrest here. And there was a chance to establish a small Portuguese trading center. So for the other voyages to come, they can simply stop at these Portuguese checkpoints or Portuguese trading centers for supplies and so on. They established a lot, by the way. I'm talking here about Portugal. They established a lot of Portuguese trading centers around the western coast of Africa. ماشي? And he discovered the whole western side of Africa until he reached this point. But unfortunately, at the southern tip of Africa, he faced strong storms. so he couldn't complete the journey and he went back to Portugal. طيب يبقى he discovered the southern tip of Africa, and because of the strong storms over there, he gave it the name Cape of Storms. And he was happy with this achievement, and of course he drew the map for the western coast of Africa, and he sailed back to the Portuguese king at that time, telling him about his achievement. And of course, his achievement that he reached the southern tip of Africa. And he told the king that I name it the Cape of Storms because of the strong storms over there. But the Portuguese king refused this title. What? It's Cape of Storms. It's not a good name. No. Let's call it Cape of Good Hope. We still have some hope to reach China, and they call it Cape of Good Hope. And we are still using this title until now, يا أولاد, because simply took the honor to discover it, so you have the right to give it a name. ماشي؟ يبقى the achievement of Diaz يا أولاد that he simply discovered the western coast of Africa, plus he managed to reach the southern tip of Africa, the Cape of Storms. Then later on, they call it Cape of Good Hope. I guess we have 2 minutes left in our session. Do you want to continue, or let's keep it for tomorrow? What do you think?
You can explain the next character quickly. It's fine.
طيب, quickly يا أولاد. Of course, the other guy was Vasco da Gama. After يعني مثلا we can say 8 or 10 years of Diaz achievement, he took the lead. He took the lead simply and followed the route or the map that Diaz drew. طيب, if you remember, I have already said that here it's a windless part in front of Guinea, and he managed to reach the southern tip of Africa, keeping in his consideration that he's gonna face strong storms. So simply he tried to avoid it a little bit here until he reached this point with the help of an Arabian guy, a Muslim navigator. His name was Ahmad bin Magid. He took him, simply Ahmad bin Magid took him, and he managed to reach India, especially the city of Calcutta. يبقى Vasco da Gama was the first Portuguese sailor to sail around the African continent until he reached India. طيب, what was the achievement of Diaz?
Sorry, Mr.
Sorry?
Again, who was the Arabic navigator who helped him
Ahmad bin
to?
Magid. His name is Ahmad bin Magid. ماشي?
Oh, thank you.
Welcome. يبقى the achievement of Diaz يا أولاد that he simply managed to reach, he discovered the western coast of the African continent, and he reached the southern tip of Africa, Cape of Good Hope. The achievement of Vasco da Gama, he was the first Portuguese sailor to sail completely around the African continent, and he reached India. Okay, these are the two main Portuguese sailors, and of course, both of them came out from the School of Navigation, which was created by Henry the Navigator. Okay?
Okay,
Thank you.
Mr.
Thank you, Aulad. Let's stop at this point, and inshallah, we